Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. I want to remind everybody, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody that wants to share some love. Always appreciated. And we are going to talk about lawful living today. Be right with you. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Okay, lawful living. What is lawful living? Well, of course, it sounds just like it says, and says it just like it sounds, is living lawfully. And actually, what I'm talking about is a friend's little site that we've got going, been going for a couple of years now. Malika Dulce from Facebook. A friend from Facebook. I met a few years back as an acquaintance here on Facebook, and we tend to agree that there's a base foundation everybody needs to start with, and that's all the way at the beginning when things happen. And what happens is people get caught up in fear, and they don't know where that is because they're thinking about something in the future. So let's pull it up. This is a great way to start out with some free education to get yourself going. And this link is down in the details section, along with my other sites and email address and everything. And what we're looking at here is another site that I am part of, and we do regular Zoom meetings on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and of course, Newbie Tuesday is the one I'm talking about, and it's a free startup for people that are trying to learn what to do to get their remedies, whether it be foreclosures, evictions, child support, child custody, all kinds of things. Throwing the bar attorneys out, disqualifying them, disqualifying the judge, and in fact, showing how you are not qualified. Everybody is pretty much incompetent when you really think about it. And so let's take a look at freedomfromgovernment.org. Now, this is a site that Trent James Goodbody started up years back. And you see all the private plates. That's what Freedom from Government was doing. One of those setups where he was providing private plates and documentation to go along with it so you could learn how to assert your right to travel as a substantive right versus a civil or licensure right or privilege of driving. And when we go to freedomfromgovernment.org, if you click on that link, this is what you'll get. Now, it's freedomfromgovernment.org, but then within freedomfromgovernment.org, like I said, this used to be James Trent Goodbody, but our friend Malika Dulce purchased it from him to combine it with her lawful living community. Okay. Now, LawfulLiving.com presents Feed the Fam. In other words, feed the family for those ready to learn why all food in the grocery stores is already ours for the lawful and righteous taking, and how to do so without using the Federal Reserve System. There are courses for Beat the Bar. There's merchandise. Like I said, this is the stuff from freedomfromgovernment.org, the license plates and everything. And then she's combined that with the Lawful Living program. You go to the consultations, and you can book consultations with Malika, Linnea, Samaya, Trinity, myself, C. Wayne, and Hassan, Richmang, and Charles McReel. These are people on this platform that are doing the paperwork, that are doing the research, that are submitting their private communications and getting successes. Every last one of us has successes in various different venues. We all work together. Okay? All Access Pass. It says, join our private community, All Access Pass for $532 a year. Now, like I said, we have Zoom meetings Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And like I said, you can start out for free. And we'll get to that. Here you got Freedom from Government, the book by Trent Goodbody. Another one, Acting with Honor and as King, Trent Goodbody. And Statist Delusions, again, by James Trent Goodbody. These are 3 books that he wrote along with doing the license plates. So let's go to the Lawful Living community. Lawful Living community, and it's set up quite a bit like Facebook, but it is very secure. You're not going to be copy pasting photos and documents and stuff unless they're free documents and free information from regular posts. Okay. Let's see here. Where was it? Let's go to About Us. What is your freedom worth? As a man who wants to help you find the free dominion you so desire, I must warn you, it takes study and there are not quick, easy answers. Then in the final outcome, you must determine your way and face the consequence of that decision. This is why there is no real process. The only real process is being truthful in every instance, and that changes every time. So my truth and the way I do things, you can follow that in a manner, but you have to use your own determination. You have to use your own verbiage. You have to use your own situation to put it together. And this is why I urge people to learn concise English through a concise English handbook and college composition so you can learn how to put these documents together. We face a system of the righteous and the unrighteous. And as Forrest Gump says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you might get. Are you up for the challenge to be free? Only you can answer that. And this is, of course, about his books, Trent James Goodbody. My books and work are about empowering you by showing you who you really are, and most importantly, who you are not. And we're going to do the same thing. That's why I started my new channel, Word Wizard, and I'm going through definitions to show you that you are definitely not the person. You are not the individual. You are not the United States citizen. You are not a resident. You are not a decedent. And we'll be doing many more definitions like that to show you you are not that person. Okay? Classes. This is where you start out with your freedom. Free research and free classes. These are the free classes. Free access to Frankenmail. This is where we're sending our postage out free of charge by using tax per queue and other methods. Birth certificate, social security number class. These are the foundational documents for everything in the American society for the United States legal and commercial entities. You have to understand what they are and who they apply to. Feed the Fam, I already have that one, I already saw that one. And then as above, so below. And this is the one I suggest everybody start with because, as I explained in one of my videos previously, the law does not start at the bottom and work its way up. It starts at the very top and trickles down. That means it starts from the scripture, the first law. And that is the Old Testament, known as Leviticus, the first law, Deuteronomy, the second law, and so forth. You have the major prophets, the minor prophets, and they all spoke about all the moral guidance in life. Romans 13, one of the most powerful verses, books. Romans 13, read it, understand. They don't have any power except the same power you have. We are all created equally under the power of God. None of us have our abilities if it not be for God. As above, so below. Then we get into things like unlicensed, and I don't give a fuck. You are not required to have a license to do anything. A license is, in fact, the authority granted to do something that otherwise would be unlawful. Cancel CPS, Child Protective Services. We recently had a gal that went out of the United States while she was pregnant, had the child in another country, came back to the United States, and for some godforsaken reason, they thought she wasn't a fit mother and tried to take her child. They, in fact, did take her child, but only for a very short time. Got that child back without going to court. These are not court matters. Like I said at the beginning, you're going to learn how to dismiss the judge, the prosecutor, and yourself, because none of you are competent. Terminate income tax. Haven't paid taxes for 20 years. It is voluntary, and you can simply put exempt. It's that simple. But for people that are already involved in it and already have that W-2 filled out and they're already taking taxes, and then they try to say, well, no, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. Read the law. The language is specific. The law is specific to the language and its intent as legislated. Pigpen. This is about the police and their powers and where they get them from and how you beat them. Money talk. We talk about the monetary system and how it works. And there's a property tax. Now, income tax and property tax are two different things. So we've got a property tax terminator because that property tax isn't applicable unless you are, in fact, running a business at your place of residence, as I spoke on Word Wizard yesterday. You have to be working for somebody, some institution. And that residence has to be a principal place of business where you're actually working and getting a paycheck, and you have inventory of products, or you have a list of services and clientele. If you don't have those records and you're actually just working at McDonald's down the street, then you don't owe property tax. Beat the bar. This is where we're unhooking the attorneys. They're crying, opening our emails at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, hundreds of times because they're confused. They didn't learn the law. They were indoctrinated by a college. Name calling. For those interested in knowing what name is, who owns or controls one, and how you live without one. See, it's a creature of the state that you're using. And upon age and majority, you're supposed to choose a name of your own. And nobody ever does that. That's that pen name, El-Hotep-Second-We-Pero. That was supposed to have been done when I was 18 so I could go out upon the world and take upon my new name and keep my privacy. Free utilities. You know they're prepaid just like insurance and taxes? Yeah, these utility companies are already obligated. See, they're the transfer agents. And we at the house, at the final destination, the end user, are not subject. Again, this goes to the Constitution and their qualifications of providing national security, domestic tranquility, and the general welfare. Now, granted, I don't suggest that everybody just go around thinking they can go run out to the store and grab food and tell the utility guy to fuck off. You ain't paying them. There are specific ways that you handle this, and this is the private communications we're talking about. You send them private notifications of exactly what the law says and rebut their position. You don't take it to court. You make them fight in private with the words. And when you go into court and just start slinging shit at the wall like I did years back, you're not going to win. because you don't know the words. Again, get a concise English handbook and a college composition handbook and learn how to be a content creator by creating the content in your own documents. Quit taking templates from somebody else and copy pasting them as if though you think it's going to work for you without doing any work yourself. Rent free, same thing. There's a primary billing party and a second billing party, and we take on these rental agreements. You're actually supposed to be getting paid equal consideration for the rent that you pay that landlord for maintenance of his property. If you are responsible for the maintenance, lawn care and all that and keeping it up, that's an equal consideration, and you need to put it in your contracts. Our rental agreement, we added a definition along with others. One of them was rental agreement means credit agreement. They accepted it. They know we are working on credit. The next one is slay the servicer. Just like I talked about the attorney not being competent and the judge not being competent to preside over the case, because you are in fact not a qualified party to even be present in the court. Those are civil courts, and you are not a contract officer known as a resident or a United States citizen, a federal, state, or municipal officer or agent. If you're not one of those, you're not qualified. And this goes to the address where you receive everything, that national address format. You're supposedly presumed to be the servicer in many cases. In this case, we're talking about the servicer on the housing situation, the loans and mortgages. See, they switch up on you and they assign a servicer, and he's not the actual one that carries the loan. There's a lot of information to help you in your foreclosures on these homes that people are buying. Understanding the instrumentation under money talk. Okay. Then foreclosure, again, this is part of the slay the servicer. There's other things along with the mortgage free. And then sue-along is for those looking to hold government officials and state-sanctioned franchises and licensees to the law as it is written, not as it is imagined. So when you need to take an action in those courts, you can. But you're not subject to the civil courts. You have a substantive right to make a presentment in those courts under common law, Article 3, as a matter of access to equity courts, in case you can't resolve the issue with a remedy at statute. And then, of course, there's the ticket terminator, one of the easiest. This is where we're talking about when you get pulled over on the side of the road and that officer gives you a nice traffic citation. Yeah, all kinds of things. So these are all premium courses here, but you've got a free access for name calling, free access for as above, so below, free access to Feed the Fam, birth certificates, and Frankenmail. And these are primary elements that you need to understand that you have a survival necessity. And that's Feed the Fam part. In that, they distract you from that through a birth certificate and Social Security. And they take you away from your primary element, which is your spirituality. It is a spiritual warfare. And that is part of the communication process where they start charging you for posting things from one place to another. And your communication is supposed to be from heaven. See, we live in this world. We're not of this world. So go ahead and get over to Lawful Living. Show our sister Malika some love and some interest, because you're never going to find a way to do this without doing it yourself. If you hire an attorney, you've already failed. Like I said, you're not competent to even be in those courts because it's a civil court and you're supposed to be some kind of legal or commercial entity, and you are not. You are a living soul. The legal and commercial entities are based on documentation therein where that legal or commercial entity is described, oftentimes by somebody else. And you've been induced into believing that you are that person. Hate to tell you, folks, but you cannot, in fact, in law or legalities, be a person. So think about this. Check that link out. Join the community. Newbie Tuesdays. Zooms at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll go ahead and grab that link now. Let me see here. And I will add this to the details section of this video. So that everybody has it. And here it is in the regular chat on YouTube. Anybody who wants to check that out, 2 p.m., grab that link and see us tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? And join us. See what you can get out of it. If you like it, we hope to see you back. It's one of the greatest communities I've been involved with. We've got a lot of great people, and we've got a lot of successes in all of those different areas. We're coming up with successes, and there's not a one of us that is an attorney. Not one. This is all by reading comprehension of their laws, their codes, their statutes, and showing them how in plain writing it just don't apply to us. We don't have that capacity. Now, if you happen to have that capacity, where you are a federal, state, or municipal officer, agent in contract with a government agency somewhere, and you do have a residence, and you are a United States citizen, you are running a business, then for heaven's sakes, at least understand that so you don't get caught up in some kind of fraud by one of us. Because that's what we're doing. We got lawyers and judges running. We've got police officers unhandcuffing people. We've got people being arrested for traveling with those plates. And then as soon as they get to jail, they're turning around and releasing them without even booking them, because we've had so many people call in and give them the facts of the situation, and they can't deny it. The information we have and we give out to these people, it's undeniable. It leaves them indefensible in their situation. That's why they run. It's not because we're almighty and powerful. It's because we know what the words say, and that's all we're doing is proving that point. It's indefensible. We're not even supposed to be in those courts. And I know it might seem a lot like now, but I assure you, you start doing this research and learning it yourself, you will never want to have somebody else do it for you again. You will realize your power in just simple comprehension. So let's see what we got. I want to thank everybody for joining me. We've got 5 feet. Disciple of Messiah. L. Micah L. Shalom, brother. Unenumerated living. Yes. We got the freak. Canada or America. This is around the world, brother. It's a matter of the language. Yes. Trent Goodbody, a great man. He's moved on to other things. What about the 10th Amendment in regards to driving license? 10th Amendment is a separation of powers. And like I said, you have to learn how to stand on your substantive rights, and include the 9th Amendment, where you have powers that aren't enumerated in those documents. And like I said, those documents do not apply to you. So when it comes to the separation of powers clause, you have to include that 9th Amendment. Hey, understand that 10th Amendment, where you get those powers so delegated, they come from beyond the state or the United States. Those powers so delegated came from the people Okay? The government doesn't have any power unless first delegated by the people. The government just didn't pop up all of a sudden. It's not the way it works. Lowrider says, Keith, you always give gold nuggets on these calls. I appreciate it. All glory goes to him. He's the one that leads me to it. I seek counsel in him, and that's all I can do. Equality is paramount under the law. Absolutely. Jordison says, I'm having another potential eviction case over some BS. Remedy is individual. Yes, you cannot have remedy on a mass scale except in certain situations of class action suits. But when we're talking about correcting the record, that comes down to the individual. We have to do that ourselves. And the only way we can do that is by knowing what's wrong with the record. And so we have to have that comprehension of what's actually going on. That's why I'm showing this lawful living. You will find that you will have much better comprehension if you join us. I assure you. It starts and ends with reading comprehension. Absolutely. Jason Calhoun, much love and gratitude, brother. I appreciate it. And welcome. Or wouldn't the documents be evidence of the crime? The documents are all evidence, absolutely. But we don't necessarily pose them as crimes. We pose them as mutual mistakes because we've all been indoctrinated. We've all been induced into believing certain things. Many of these people will confess that, yes, they are the person. I am that person. They will confess, yes, I do live in the state. You cannot live in the state. The state is a fiction. It exists on paper only. And though they show a material boundary on a map, that is not a physical boundary that you can actually see when you go to that boundary. You cannot go to the state boundary and see the state boundary unless it be a boundary like a river, a natural course that's already there. Yes, Jason. And that brings us to the end. I appreciate everybody's attendance today. Please go check it out again. Lawful Living. Again, I will drop the Zoom link in the details section of this video, so you can check that out. And anybody that has any questions or can't find it, my email is down there. Just get a hold of me, and I will be glad to bring you into Newbie Tuesdays as free classes. And like I showed you, the site has other free courses that you can go through and get information, and people will be glad to help you. Not just myself or the other consultants, the other members of the community that are having success. They're stepping up and taking part of consultation as well. It's a growing community, and in that growing community, each and every one of us grows individually. This is the true spiritual growth we're talking about in a spiritual warfare of rightly dividing the words. That's all it is. And with that, we come to the end of the stream. I appreciate, once again, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back or not. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you, and have a good day. See you later.